In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create this really cool scroll animation that I've prepared for you guys. So if I just start to scroll down through our website, as you can see, whenever we scroll to this specific area here, our background is going to change, and also our header background is going to change, and even our logo, our menu color, our text color down here, you can see portfolio changes, as well as these headlines down here as well, or these sub headlines, I should say. And whenever we scroll out of our specific area here, or section, it's going to go back to normal. And that's what I have prepared for you guys in this video. Now, if you guys are interested in this template here, I will have a download down in the description, but there is going to be a small fee for it in case you guys want to support the channel. That would be amazing. But I will be showing you guys how to create this scroll animation here, and also how to create some other stuff within this website, but I will probably make those into separate videos. For instance, I have some pretty cool stuff that I'm going to be going over. So how to create this slider here, and it works well on mobile, and also how to create this menu here at the top, and how to have this transition effect within images here, this infinite transition effect within these website images or these website screenshots. Now that's pretty much the gist of it. If you guys end up finding this video helpful, make sure to like it for the YouTube algorithm. And if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any of my videos. Now I really hope you guys enjoy. So let's go ahead and begin. Head over to your dashboard. Go into Elementor. Custom code. Go ahead and click on Add New. And our title is going to be Change Background on Scroll. And then go ahead and paste the code that I've provided in the description. Make sure that your location is set to body end. And before we hit publish, I do want to go over the code a bit. So first of all, we have our GSAP loader here. And this is loading this change background function, which is this function here. I'm sure that I've gone over this in the past, so I'm not going to go over this too much here. So basically this just checks if GSAP is loaded. The main part that we're going to be going over is our timeline and our timeline items as well. So the first one we want to go over is our trigger. So basically this is our trigger class. So whenever we scroll to that specific trigger class, our animation, our scroll animation is going to begin. So we need to go ahead and add our class within our Elementor builder. So go into your page, whether that may be your home page or whatever that is. I'm going to be using my home page. So I'm going to click Edit with Elementor. Okay, so now that we have our Elementor builder opened up, I'm going to scroll down. And we want to go ahead and begin our scroll animation within this section here, specifically the top of this section. So let's go ahead and grab our start trigger, which is this one here, start BG trigger. We're going to copy that. And we're going to paste this in here. Now I'm going to hit update because I do want to go over the markers and everything. That's why I added the markers here, but these can be removed if you guys have gone through GSAP with me before. So now I'm going to hit publish on this. I'm only going to load this on singular, and I'm going to set this to the front page. Of course, you can go ahead and set this to whatever page you may want. You can choose pages and then choose your page here. But just for simplicity, I'm going to do the front page. So I'm going to save this, publish that. I'm going to go ahead and preview my changes for my home page. Now we will see that we have our markers here. We have our scroller start and our scroller end. And we should down here have our start trigger. So whenever we scroll down here, we may see a background change. There we go. And I've already added some classes to my header, and I will be going over that. But I haven't added some classes to some of my titles here. That's why we're not seeing the text color change for these headlines. And as you can see, we probably don't have an ending. Oh, I guess we still have that ending trigger. So we have the ending trigger right here. But I may change that. So okay. So we've added our trigger, and then our ending trigger is the next one we need to add. But before I even go over our ending trigger, I do want to go over the markers here. So this is very important because our starting marker, and this is basically set to the top. So basically this is the top of our section. Now, if we were to set this to the bottom, it would set this to the bottom of our section. This mainly, the first one mainly ties our sections and our divs, whatever that may be. And then our second one here is going to tie down to our scroll bar. As you can see, we have it set to the center. So it's currently set to the scroll bar center, scroller start, and then our section here is at the top here, right? Because this is our section. You can see this is the beginning of our section. Now, as mentioned, I've gone through this before, but I always like to go through it a little bit. If I set this to the bottom, at least for the scroller, it will set my scroller start all the way to the bottom. If I set it to the top, it will set it to the top, but that's just how I set it up. And our start here, as mentioned, is set to the top of our section, but I could set it to the bottom if I wanted to. And then we have our end trigger. So our end trigger is basically where we want our animation, our scroll animation to end, right? So currently, I might have not removed the class here because I believe it was this one. So yeah, so I had my end trigger in here. So I'm going to remove this, and we're going to just go through this again here. So grab your end trigger, grab this class, and then go ahead and paste this into the section where you want the animation to end, right? Where you want your background to basically go back to normal. Because currently we have it, whenever we scroll inside of this, of the side of the section, it turns white. But we want, whenever we scroll out of the section, we want it to go back to normal, which is go back to dark mode. So I'm going to set my CSS class here. Now, I currently have it set, if I go to end here, you can see that I have it set to the bottom. So the bottom of my end trigger section, and then our end trigger marker is set to the center, which is stuck to our scroll bar, right? Our scroller end is at the center here. Okay. And that's stuck to our scroll bar, and our end trigger is stuck to the section, but at the bottom of our of this intersection here. So that's how we have it set up. Now, what we could do as well, I believe, just in case maybe you wanted to use the same class, because I know that may be the case where you maybe just have a really long section, right? What we could do is actually do the same thing, I believe. We can use the same class and add it here. Now, of course, I'm going to change it back, but I just want to show you guys that example because we already have it set here on the end bottom. So I believe this will work anyway, the same way, except this will probably be at the same spot, to be honest. So we could have just done it the same, but I didn't want to do it that way just in case you wanted to maybe add the end trigger to a different section. And that's why I did it that way, just to give you guys an example. As you can see, here it is, and it still works the exact same way, right? I believe I refreshed this just in case. There we go, yeah. But for this example, we're gonna go ahead and add that back in here. Alrighty, so now that I've gone over the markers and the trigger and the end trigger, so now we're gonna be going over our toggle actions, and these are super important, but I'm gonna be going over this briefly because I don't wanna make this video too long. So basically we have our, within our toggle actions, our on enter, we have it set to restart. So basically every time we re-enter this, it's going to restart as mentioned. And then we have our reverse, which is on leave. So basically whenever we leave, it's going to go ahead and do the opposite of turning into the light mode. It's going to turn into the dark mode. It's basically what that does. And then restart on enter back. And then we have our enter back. So if I go over here, basically we're entering back into our scroll animation. You notice that it's just going to restart. It's going to turn white again. That's what on enter back is doing. Whenever we re-enter our animation, it's just going to restart. We have our on leave back. So basically whenever we leave this, we want it to do the opposite of what it's doing, which is turning into the light mode and turn into the dark mode instead. So that's basically what that's doing there. So now let's go over, we don't really need to go over duration. Duration is just the duration of our entire timeline here. We have our markers set. Obviously, if you want to remove these markers here, I get that question asked a lot because I do include it in the code there. I always just leave it just so then you guys can move the markers around if you need to. That's why I leave it. But I'm starting to notice that a lot of you guys have trouble with that. So I'm probably just going to remove this by default anyway. And you guys can add it if you guys need to adjust your markers. So let's go ahead and remove that for now because we don't need it anymore. Now we need to just go over our classes here and our timeline. So the main one is our body, and we're targeting a body class. I want to say it's a class, but yeah, we're targeting our body, and we're changing the background to white. As you can see, we have a duration of 0.2 because we want it to be pretty quick. And I even have it listed here, main background color. So this is where we can change the main background color, and that is going to change the background to white whenever we scroll into our animation or our scroll trigger. And then we have our header background GSAP. Now this is going to change the background of our header. So as you can see, it's set to white. And we're currently using the class of header BG GSAP. So let me go into that first because I do want to go over this really quick. So what you actually need to do is click on your header, go into advanced, and then just paste that code in here, header BG GSAP, and then that should change the background for you whenever you scroll into your trigger, or whenever your timeline begins, I should say. And then we have our GSAP menu. This is going to change the background color of the menu here. Now I may not have this included in the code actually, just because this is only specific to my website here, but I will be sharing this website anyway with you guys by the time this video is out. Unfortunately, you guys do have to go ahead and purchase it to be able to access it, but that just helps out the channel, so hopefully that isn't a problem there. But I will show you guys how to do most of the stuff on the website anyway. So that is going to change the background of the menu here. And then we also have, let me just go into that just in case. So we have to add the GSAP menu class to here. And then we have our GSAP menu, Elementor menu toggle. So this is targeting the same class, but what it's doing is that it's changing the mobile toggle icon color. So as you can see, whenever we go to mobile, the toggle here, it's going to change whenever we switch it and we scroll into our timeline, it's going to change to black. So that's why I have it set like that. That's why we're targeting two classes there, the Elementor menu toggle. And then our change logo image. So basically we're changing our header logo here. It's not working right now because I haven't set the image on there yet, the source. So I'm going to grab it right now. And I'm going to use this one here. Go back in here. There we go. So now that should work. And then this part is super important. So right here, we're targeting our H1s, our H2s, our H3s, our H4s, our P tags, our A tags, and our span tags. And now I included all of these just in case you want to go ahead and change the color of those tech elements. So just go ahead and grab this class here. Actually, you know what? Before I go into that, in case I didn't go over the logo, sorry about that. In order to change the logo, grab this change logo class and then go ahead and just click on your logo here, go into advanced, and then go ahead and add that class in here. And that's pretty much it. So now that our header is set, we can exit out of here and let's focus on our home page here. I'm just going to refresh this just in case. So let's grab our BG scroll text. So basically we're going to add this class to whichever element we want to change the text color to. So I want to go ahead, you can see currently right now, I want to go ahead and change this color and these colors that are not showing up here right now, they're white. So the reason I added this extra class and didn't just do this, now I could have just removed the extra class, and you guys can do this as well, right? You can just remove this extra class and it will work right away anyway. But the thing about this, and let me just do this real quick. It'll probably only do some of them, may not do all of them. It will work. Sorry, let me refresh this. There we go. That was strange there. So as you can see, whenever we scroll into our timeline here, you notice that every text here is going to turn black, right? But our sub headline here was already set to this different color, and that was fine. I didn't really want to adjust that. I only wanted to adjust specific text, right? But if you don't need to, if you want to just change all the colors of the text, then that's fine. Okay, so let me go back here and add this. And for those of you guys wondering, by the way, if for some reason I didn't mention this part for the menu font color, the font color is changing on the header here for the menu, is because I added this BG scroll text as well, just like how these other elements have it. So let's make sure that we're editing our home page here. Might have already had it open on another tab, but that's fine. Let's update this if I didn't update already. Now let's just grab this class here and we're going to add it into any text element that we want the text change. So this one we do, even though it's starting over here, on mobile, you will probably notice sometimes that it'll turn white and you can still see this section here. So that's why I'm going to do this section instead. And it looks like it already has the class on there. I know this one doesn't, so let's add it in here. Let's add it to this one. Let's add it to this one here. Let's add it here. And let's add it here. Okay. Now everything should work perfectly. So let's scroll down here and there we go. So our text changes above, all of our text changes down there, and we scroll out and there we go. And another thing that I actually did is I did add it to this one as well, just in case, because it seems like we were kind of seeing some of this text here. So I did add it in there. That's why I did that. Now, last thing here before I end this video, hopefully it's not too long, just in case some of you guys may not have a header or something, or don't want to include the header part, you can just remove it. So it's pretty simple to remove the header. timeline. So just remove this right here. TL, remove this one. Remove this one. And remove this one. Basically, just remove these 4 right here. And you can have it set like this. And that's it. You don't got to include the header, but I will include it in here just in case for those of you guys that want to use that, because I feel like that's going to be very useful. Now that's pretty much it for this video. Now, if you do want to download the template, I will have it down in the description. There will be a small fee if you want to support the channel. If you did end up finding this video helpful, make sure to like it for the YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any of my videos. Thanks for watching.